Hey, welcome to an all-new episode of the Ice Talks, where we implement change every day. Listen, I'm Harold S. Reed Jr., also known as HRJR. I'm your personal development coach, your keynote speaker, and published author. This podcast is designed to give you a new perspective on dealing with life's everyday issues. Something I learned quite some time ago is that if you want to keep getting what you're getting, just keep on doing what you've been doing. However, if you want to achieve and see new and different results, you're going to have to learn and do some new skills and take different actions. And here's the crazy part. The process is not as difficult as you think. You see, sometimes people think that in order to make significant changes in their lives, they have to go through some tremendous burning bush type experience. And when that doesn't happen, people just settle for being who they are and where they are. No matter how much I may have pushed myself over the years, in all honesty, when times came that things didn't work out right, I would retreat back to that mindset, not knowing that I was knocking myself back 2 or 3 extra steps from however many steps I was set back by the original setback. But there's something I learned from my mentor, Dr. Del Toro McNeil, and that's that all we have to do is improve ourselves just 1% a day. That's it, just 1% a day. So that's what I want to talk to you about in this episode, the value and the power of 1%. When he taught me that particular principle, I felt a genuine sense of relief. If I may be a little graphic, I promise I'll be safe, I'll be Disney, but if I could be a little graphic, the best way I could describe it is like this. When you wake up tomorrow morning, before you brush your teeth or shave or put on your makeup, soak a face cloth in hot water for a minute or two. Gently wring it out so that it's not dripping wet, but it's still holding a significant amount of water. Then gently drape the cloth across your face. The heat and the light steam will open your pores and you'll feel just that much more ready to move forward with your day. When you experience that sensation, you will totally understand how relieved I felt when that principle that my mentor taught me clicked in my head. Now, you might not think that 1% is enough to make a change at all. Well, for one, you're very much mistaken. And two, I'm going to explain why. Ever since we were children, we believed that more was bigger and that bigger was better, right? I remember a time when I was maybe 7 or 8 and I was walking to the store with a friend of mine to get some candy. Now, she had a nickel, I had a dime. And all the way up to the corner store, she kept jabbering on about how she was going to get more candy than me because her nickel was bigger than my dime. Now, she was singing a different tune when we got to the store, and I was able to get 2 pieces of candy, and she could only get 1. I pray, I'm not going to say her name, but I still remember her name, but I'm not going to say her name. I just hope that she's become a lot more financially literate since then. You see, when it comes to quantity versus quality, most people will always choose quantity almost every time. Even if the value is the same, people will always choose to just have more. Now, let me ask you a couple of questions. And I guarantee if you do this honestly, your view will very well change. Let's say I'm going to give you $1. Which would you prefer to have in your pocket? 100 pennies or 4 quarters? Let me take it a little further. Which would you rather have? Same dollar. Now, well, first of all, let me guess. You chose the 4 quarters, right? Because who really wants to be walking around with 100 pennies jangling around, weighing down their pocket, right? But now let me ask you this. Same dollar, but which would you rather have? Those 4 quarters or a dollar bill? Would you rather have those 4 quarters jingling around in your pocket? Or would you just have that dollar bill just safely in there? You know it's there, not making no noise, but you know it's there. Here's another example. This is a little bit personal, but not over the line personal. I created what's called a challenge coin. If you're in the military, you know what a challenge coin is. I created a challenge coin for my brothers in Groove 5 Groove Social Fellowship Incorporated. And the coin was made in the shape of our shield. Now, the coin itself has no monetary value except to me when brothers purchase one, but I wanted to create something that brothers would find sacred enough to keep on their person at all times. And if a brother puts his coin on the table, let's say, fellas are out, brothers are out, we're at a convention or we're just hanging out, a few of us, and one of the brothers puts his coin on the table. Bam. Now, all the other brothers around at the table, they got to put their coins on the table. And whoever doesn't put their coin down, well, the next round of drinks is on them. So it may sound silly to the uninitiated, but it's kind of a bonding and fellowship thing. Now, however, when I first introduced the coin, brothers wanted to buy 4 or 5 at a time. So they could, once again, they felt that more was bigger, more was better, right? So now from a business perspective, I could have just jumped on and took the money and ran. But since I'm one of those rare unicorns who believes quality is more important than quantity, I was steadfast on only allowing one brother to buy 1 coin. However, I had an older brother come to me and tell me, listen, I understand what you're trying to get across, and it's a shame that a lot of other brothers aren't picking up on that frequency. But since they're not, and they want to give you that extra money, go ahead and make that money. So I accepted the reality that my brothers weren't on that particular frequency, and I let capitalism reign, and I made some money. However, what I also learned, now we're still talking about quality over quantity. What I also learned, is that as much as I love all my brothers, those brothers who were satisfied with just having 1 coin are some of the brothers, some of the ones who have been closest to me before and since I introduced the coin to the brothers, to the fellowship. So understand that it's not about however many brothers bought however many coins. That just made me make extra money. I'm always going to be happy to make some extra money. But what was important to me was that even though more of my brothers cared more about having more coins than the next brother, the few brothers who respected the sentiment behind the project have always proven themselves to be the farthest beyond reproach. Here's another example. And now we're going to go back, switching back gears to the 1%. Here's another example. A couple of weeks ago, I participated on the leadership team for my mentor's annual conference, the Full Throttle Experience. It's a 4-day, life-changing, transformational event for high achievers. And we did it in Clearwater, Florida, on leading up to the 4th of July. We were finished on the 3rd, and we got to watch this fireworks on the beach, and it was bananas. But I digress, right? I invited about 100 people, maybe a little more, but no less than 100 people to that event. And out of those 100 people, and God has a funny way of working because he made this possible. Out of those 100 people, only one of my friends that I invited actually showed up. Now, as wonderful as it would have been to see all 100 of my friends breaking through past traumas, making new friends, networking like crazy, and sitting at the feet of several millionaires who were just sharing exactly how they made it to their levels in life, watching that one friend experience all of those things, and for her to tell me how her whole emotional being and everything about her has just shifted into a more progressive direction, that means more to me than had 2, 10, 100, even if all of them, if they all showed up. The fact that one person showed up, she was that 1%, and that 1% saw and received all of the change, all of the benefits, all of the juice, all of the power that whole event was all about. Now, the first time I've ever really heard about the quote unquote 1% being a thing, it was a few years back when a bunch of people in New York, peacefully for the most part, gathered and created the Occupy Wall Street movement to protest wealth disparity and how huge corporations were amassing major profits while average Americans were losing their jobs and homes. The corporations, more importantly, the wealthy people at the heads of those corporations who were making those galactically outrageous profits were referred to as the 1%. And that was definitely not a moniker given as a compliment. Now, here's where you're likely going to find me crazy if you haven't already. I never saw the so-called 1% as my enemy. These people surely weren't friends of mine. I didn't know any of them. But as someone who has spent his entire adult life striving to succeed, even though I was and am not part of the 1%, whatever and whomever the 99% are, I never really saw myself as part of that either. I guess I'm just the 1%er of my own making. And that's what I want you to realize that you are. You are the 1% that you need to discover and cultivate your own inner greatness. To that, I want to add Dr. McNeil's advice to improve yourself just 1% a day. How much better could you be in your health and wellness if for the next 100 days you ate healthy and cut out fast food and sweets? How much better could you be in your finances, your job, in your business, improving your interpersonal and romantic relationships if you just dedicated yourself to spending 100 days focused on any one of those given areas? So let's say for the next 100 days, you work on your health and your fitness. You start going to the gym more. You create a habit out of that. 100 days is a little more than 3 months, right? So for 100, you're still doing all the other things that you're doing, but you're going to focus for the next 100 days on your health and your fitness or your finances, becoming more financially literate, reading more, learning more, making investments, things of that nature. Improving your interpersonal relationships. Maybe every day you'll read some pages or a chapter out of a book that has to do with improving relationships or leadership, so on and so forth. But my point is this: just 1%. 1% could make the difference between a most empowered destiny or just a wasted life sitting on the couch. In fact, this is something else that Dr. Del Toro tells us. If you have no intention of doing just that 1% more today than you did yesterday, if you have no intention of doing that 1% more tomorrow than you did today, you might as well go buy yourself a big bag of popcorn so you don't go hungry sitting on your couch as you watch the world pass you by and you watch the people who are improving themselves 1% every day, 1% every day. Now, that's going to be the end of today's episode, right? And I know it's a little bit short, or actually, yeah, it's very short considering, but I have some more information I want to share with you because I want to share with you some wonderful updates with the HRJR brand. Okay. So number one, HRJR Enterprises has been rebranded and renamed HRJR Peak Performance Services. HRJR Peak Performance Services. I will still be providing top-notch life coaching and keynote services along with my books and other products. I just felt that there's a lot in a name and I needed to make my brand easier to understand. So with Peak Performance Services in the name, you know both what to expect from me, the people around me, and what will be expected of you if you enter the HRJR orbit. Only high achievers are allowed within the HRJR orbit. Number two, I've just completed a new audio CD project called Success Leaves Clues, 6 Simple Keys to Unlocking Your Goals and Dreams. I have a chock full of information in there to just help you get yourself started. Now, yes, it's a CD. Before you go back to thinking I'm crazy again, and while I understand that new cars aren't being made with CD players, you also have to understand that new cars aren't rolling off the assembly lines as much as they used to. So what's coming off of all the car lots now throughout the country? Used cars that have CD players. And where do people spend most of their time alone? After, you guessed it, in their cars. I'm talking about going from home to work and back, going to the supermarket and back, going to the gym and back, taking a road trip to go somewhere for the weekend. People spend a lot of time in their cars, and a lot of these cars have CD players. You may have some CD players at home. I know you bought a whole bunch of CDs back in the day. All right, I'm talking to people of a certain age. I know you ain't throw away your CD players just because CDs aren't as popular as they used to be. All right, so trust me, CDs are going to be out there for quite some time, right? but I got something for you, so stand by. Let me just keep going with these updates. All right. Now, again, all of these places that I said are good places where a good CD could be used to help you with that 1%. Now, let me keep moving forward. Number 3, when you visit my website, www.coachhrjr.com, go to the shop page. There's a link on there for the HRJR shop. And there you'll find an incredibly special summer bundle that I'm offering, which consists of an autographed copy of my first book, Find a Way to Make a Way. You're either part of the problem or part of the solution. The new CD, Success Leaves Clues, and a 30-minute coaching discovery section. Now, the discovery session is basically a one-on-one session between you and I where we establish where you are in your life right now and where you want to be. And at the end of that discussion, at the end of that discovery session, we determine whether or not you want to continue moving on with life coaching, right? And well, first of all, before I go into number 4, let me say that altogether, the book, the CD, the coaching session, that's a total value of $140. But until August 31st of 2022, this year, and the reason why I'm specifying this year is because if you listen to this podcast episode like 2023, 2024, there might be a different, I assure you there's going to be a different offer on the table. So I'm specifying until August 31st of 2022, you'll be able to get this bundle for $69.99. That's a 50% savings, a 50% discount. However you want to say it, that's 50% less than if you had to pay for everything all together. All right. Also, now this is what I was talking about in number 2 about the CDs and everything. Check this out. Soon, because I'm working on this. This is my latest project, and I'm working on this, and this is going to be done within the next month or 2. All right. Just got to get with the right people, get the right things popping. But soon, you'll be able to purchase digital content such as ebooks, audiobooks, and personal development training programs directly from the HRJR website. So again, audiobooks, ebooks, training programs, all kinds of stuff that I got brewing. Because I'm in the lab, I got a whole lot of stuff brewing. So I got to provide the proper channels for you to be able to receive this content. So within the next month or 2, I'm going to have it set up on my website where you can purchase digital content from the website. And finally, number 4, I am most proud of this particular update. Listen, one of the biggest obstacles many of the people I've encountered who've declined the opportunity to get coaching has been the cost. Now, I could start a whole new talk on the difference between what's an expense and what's an investment and how you determine the return on the investment. But instead, what I'm simply say is that I've partnered with a company called Coach Financing. This is a company that provides financing for life coaching services at extremely reasonable and affordable rates, so it will not break your pocket. If you want to schedule your discovery session, please send me an email at hrjr@coachrjr.com. That email address again is hrjr@coachrjr.com. Now, look, I know what it's like to want to do some big things and not see the dollars in my wallet to match the desire. I sought out ways to achieve those things, and now I have achieved the means to bridge that gap for you as well. Now here you have me as somewhat an unofficial life coach. But trust me, I am so much better when I am specifically and intentionally committed to you as an individual client. Okay, so for the past few minutes, let's just do a recap. I shared with you the value and the power of 1%. I shared with you a couple of examples from my life's experience to expound on that principle. And in so doing, we also talked about the difference between the quality and the quantity of a thing. And finally, I shared with you some particularly important updates. There's a whole lot more that's going to be coming to you and for you over the following months, but I didn't want to overload you with all of that in this one episode. So my friend, as we part ways, I wish you the very best in all you do. And always remember, the impossible is only impossible because you have yet to step up and make it possible. Take care of yourself. God bless.